allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, April 11, 2023, the time being 5:30 p.m. The meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is called to order. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that's available on the table in the back of the room. Amy, please call the roll.
Janie Kane. Lindsay Job. Here. Rodney King.
Here.
Glenn Tebby. Here. Mayor Joshua Marsh.
Here. I did receive notice that Jamie had an emergency work trip that would prevent him from joining us this evening. You all should have received a copy of the minutes from March 14, 2023. Any edits, additions, or corrections? If not, take a motion to approve those as presented.
I'm probably not promoting.
Motion's made by Glenn,
Second that.
second by Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. You also received a copy of the minutes from the executive session April 10, 2023. Any edits, additions, or corrections?
Yes, it needs to be corrected to 3 candidates being interviewed rather than 5. It was the intention. We were unable to do the 5. So with that amendment, I would move approval.
Second.
If the amendment's accepted, I should say. I move amendment first.
That seems to be correct,
Yeah.
so we will make that amendment. Motion's been made by Glenn, second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Perfect. There being no old business, we'll move directly to new business. John Bryant with the Veritas Group is here this evening to provide us with our update on the Municipal Complex project. John, I know you've spent some of the day with our team, so welcome to the home stretch.
Yeah, right. We're getting there. All right. Anything specific I need to do here and there is just.
Kristen, is there anything else he needs to do, or I thought you just plugged it in?
Well, it's not
You
a,
have to describe it.
it's not a huge deal, no worries. It's just the agenda that I was gonna run through here, so I'll go ahead and get started. Again, my name is John Bryan with the Veritas Group. I know I gave an update 2 months ago for the street department and the fire station, so there's been some progress obviously that's been made since then. So we'll go ahead and jump into the first item here for construction documents and design update. So we did have 100% signed and sealed documents delivered to state for construction design release last week for the site work and the fire station package. We are expecting CDR's construction design release by end of this week or next. At that point, the city of Greensburg will then issue permits and then mobilization will begin. So I did speak with Myron Najum, who's a construction manager for the fire station. They are expecting to mobilize end of this month for the project, and then at that point the site work contract will mobilize most likely early May as we still continue to vet out those bids. So as we move into schedule again, mobilization in April after construction design release, and then again there's no change in the substantial completion date as of now for the municipal campus, so that's again in spring of 2024. As we jump into the fire station design, again, signed and sealed documents were released. Bids have been received. Myron Najum is vetting through those and will award those bids end of this week. So we'll have a good understanding of that number from Myron Najum. So Veritas, we are continuing to develop FF&E budgets alongside with Chief and Mark and procurement logs now that we have received bids. So we are going through that. We do plan to release an RFP, a request for proposal for FF&E, and some of those items will go through the Sourcewell cooperative membership that the city has. We typically see very steep discounts with those cooperative purchasing agreements, so we will try and utilize that where we're able. Street department update. So again, like Mayor mentioned, we had a good meeting with Runebaum today for the street design. So they had their architectural firm come in, who's Peterson Architecture, to provide an update on their drawings. They are labeling those as a 95% CD set, so we had quite a few feedback items to give to Runebaum for them to make changes on. So the intent is to release those to state similar to the fire station by end of next week. So they'll line up similarly. Obviously, the fire station is the critical driver of the municipal campus projects, given the duration of the project, but we want to be able to line those things up similarly with those. As I discussed in my update 2 months ago, steel has been ordered for the street department. The delivery for that is expected in June or July, which will line up well with a site work contractor getting the pad ready. So again, not a critical path driver, but something that we're continuing to push with Runabom. Budget, we remain on budget. Nothing's changed on that front. Again, the GMP was set at that 19.9 number and has not changed. And then regarding next steps on the project, so groundbreaking ceremony, a big milestone that's expected on May 13th, which is Saturday at 10:30 in the morning. So that's a one that we're shooting for, and we're really excited to kick off the project. So that concludes my update for this portion. Is there any questions?
Stephen Kromkowski with DLZ, who is our architect on the fire station side of this and working on the civil, is also with us this evening. Holdover from this afternoon's meeting. So thanks for being here, Stephen. Any questions for John or Stephen at the moment?
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Next up, we have Mark Carmen with a couple changes for the Fall Festival.
Good evening, Board. Again, my name is Mark Carmen. I'm president of Tree City Fall Festival. My stage company has come to me and requested that we get permission to close the corner of Washington and Broadway Street on Thursday evening. They requested 4 p.m. and I said there's no way that's going to happen. I got him pacified and I said I could probably get 6 p.m. as long as I get Board of Works approval. The reason for this is they have double booked themselves for 2 stages that weekend, and they were requesting to set ours up at 6 p.m. on Thursday evening due to their staffing shortages. That is the only amendment to the earlier request that's been approved. And that's basically just the reason for coming tonight.
We had agreed for the morning of the following morning, right?
Right, correct. And that would be the only corner that would be closed that evening, just for that stage setup. Everything else will remain as earlier approved. All other streets would be 6 a.m. the next morning.
North-South Broadway would remain open
Yes,
overnight.
yes.
It's
It would be
literally-
open, it just, they're gonna be doing the work to set up at 6 p.m. As soon as they're done, they'll be out of there to leave that open for traffic all evening.
Set the motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion's been made by Lindsay, seconded by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Perfect. Second
Thank you.
item.
Thank you.
Okay, second item, I'm still here. I'm going to introduce Kathy Woolliang. We grew up in Highland Edition together back in the 70s. We were all teenagers then, now we're all in our 50s and approaching 60s. And this is a second year for a neighborhood party. The party will be held at her mother's yard. We're requesting street closure on West Sheridan Street from Indiana Avenue to Maple Street. And just a short section in there to have a neighborhood party. Probably a couple guys playing guitar. Last year we did not request a street closure because it was small enough. This year we think it'll grow. So we're requesting to close the street, possibly have the fire department and the police department bring out a truck and a police car for touch a truck, touch a car. A lot of kids in the neighborhood still, so we're requesting. I've spoken with both chiefs and they've agreed that it's not an issue for them. So requesting a street closure that evening.
What's the date on that again, please?
September 9th. Street closure would be probably
6 to 10.
6 to 10, maybe 5 p.m. to 10 to just get everything set up.
The whole neighborhood's gonna be involved.
The whole neighborhood's involved. She's gone around and checking. Her mother still lives in the same house, and she said you were her high school, her grade school principal, if you remember her, Kathy Hauser. So the whole neighborhood will be invited, and in fact, anybody here wants to come, we'll not turn anyone away.
Sure.
You say September 9th?
September 9th.
There seems to be 14 residents with direct access to the street. We would probably request, if approved, additional and documented notification
Okay.
of
She
them.
can do that.
Does that seem okay?
Yep.
Board, does that seem acceptable? Any issues you see with that?
What you're asking for is not public traffic, but if someone needed, a resident needed to be.
We could make arrangements, accommodations to get somebody in or out if they needed to, and both chiefs had said they've got access to get around, so they didn't have an issue.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
please, I'm finished.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that, unless
And
Glenn has any.
with the caveat that Mayor Marsh recommended.
Thank you.
I agree.
Motion's been made by Rodney, seconded by Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Thanks.
Those opposed? Perfect. Rose Cronley, Main Street Executive Director, with an update on road closures for Friends of Fred.
Good evening. I'm here today to request road closure for our second annual Friends of Fred Food Truck Festival. Our inaugural event saw 7,000 people downtown in the square last year, which was quite an accomplishment, so we're excited to grow that this year. This year the event's going to be on Saturday, June 17th from 5 to 9 p.m. We're requesting road closure from 2:30 to 10 p.m. Specifically, we're asking for the south side of the courthouse parking lot, Franklin Street from Washington to Main Street, Washington Street from Broadway to Franklin Street. We've already went in front of the commissioners and we've gotten approval for that south parking lot area. We've been working with the Greensburg Police Department, who's going to help with distributing flyers to residents who park in those areas. And additionally, we spoke with Mark Klosterkemper to reduce hazards for people entering the barricaded areas after the roads have been closed.
Quite an event last year.
Was. And I think it's going to be better this year. Main Street's lined up a band and working with other community partners on sponsors and really trying to make it its own standalone event as well.
This is the evening for road closure, so I think we're on a roll, so I would move approval of the request.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Glenn, seconded by Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you.
Rose, can I put you on the spot for 1 minute to talk about our visitors today and tomorrow?
Yeah, so we have had the privilege of hosting Main Street America, who is our national accrediting body that is under the National Trust for Historic Preservation, in addition to our state program, Indiana Main Street, which is housed in Okra under the Lieutenant Governor. And we've been focusing on what makes Greensburg unique to help drive the future of ourselves as an organization and help us put the why in everything that we do. So the representatives had such a good time downtown, and a lot of the feedback was just how clean our downtown is, how much they love what we've done here. It's just been overwhelmingly positive feedback that we've been really excited about. So we're proud.
So what's their agenda besides just touring? I mean, do you have an agenda that you're that they're looking for specific things, or that you have to put an agenda together to share with them?
Yeah, so specifically, the way that all main streets across the country are looked at has changed a little bit. Our accreditation standards have changed, and they want us to all have a transformation strategy defined, which is essentially the why behind what we do or what we're trying to accomplish, so that you don't have a bunch of disjointed efforts as an organization. So we've been focusing on that, and we've done a massive community survey that had over 260 responses, in addition to stakeholder meetings with everyone from building owners to local elected officials to business owners downtown, to try to validate feedback and also just hear what people have to say. And so all that's going to be combined tomorrow to help us determine what our transformation strategy is, so we can align the work that we're doing towards what that is.
And of course, the most recent effort that we've got on our street changes that we just approved last month will be part of that discussion, I'm sure, part of that effort.
We're happy to be at the table on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. Up next, we have 4 guests. Come on up, ladies and gentlemen. This is representatives of the Mayor's Youth Council, which includes Brinley Jameson, Wade Schutte, Declan Bruns, and Carmen Rippinger. While they're finished putting out all of the info, a little bit of the background with the Mayor's Youth Council, which is spearheaded by Sandra Gabbard. It is a combination effort with the Greensburg Prevention Group, which youth-based nonprofit organization here in the community that's housed under the city, technically and legally. And this year, there was a joint effort to put the Mayor's Youth Council with GPG to focus on more youth engagement. It's a county-wide group of individuals. I'm letting Wade finish up here. I'm just stalling. County-wide individuals from all of the school systems, 6th grade and up. And that would include St. Mary's, South Decatur, North Decatur, and Greensburg. So these individuals have been working on several projects for the year, including the bottle cap bench project and trivia nights, and they have tackled another one. So with that, I'll turn the floor over to you for it.
Thank you, Mayor Marsh. My name is Brinley Jamison. I'm a freshman at Greensburg. I've been part of the Mayor's Youth Council for 1 year now, and we're excited to present to you.
My name is Carmen Ripperger. I'm also a freshman at Greensburg Community High School, and this is the first year.
My name's Declan Bruns. I'm a freshman at Greensburg High School, and this is my first year.
Hi, my name is Wade Schutte. Like everybody else, I'm a freshman at Greensburg, and I've been in it since the beginning, 1 year. We would like to start off by informing you a bit about our council and our mission. Our council's mission is to get the youth's voice heard through the community and take action in participating and planning community events. We want to do our part to clean up, build up, support, and gather members of all ages in our community. When thinking of a project our council wanted to take on, we couldn't think of a better one than fixing up our local North Park. This project is important to our members because we believe it is important to fix up the recreational space within our community that is a gathering space for all citizens.
Our council is made up of 30 active members from all schools around Decatur County. Even though this is the council's first year, our council has accomplished a lot and can't wait for what the future holds for us. This past year, we have participated in the local Christmas parade, a project involving the collection and sorting of bottle caps that will be melted down and turned into benches that will be placed around North Park. We have hosted trivia and movie nights, as well as participating in IHCDA retreats and events. All these events are something to better and cultivate togetherness in our community. They have taught us, as a council, how to communicate effectively and professionally, plan and host events, along with other tips to know for future events. We are excited to expand our council in the future.
So some things that we hope to do at remodeling North Park is resurfacing the basketball courts, new backboards and rims, and nets, benches and seating around the court, and landscaping. We've already started our project with bottle cap collection and sorting to be melted down into benches. As you can see, at North Park right now, the basketball places are they're old, very run down, cracked surfaces. All paint is washed off. You can't see it. The backboards and nets are destroyed and cracked, and again, losing paint. There's little to no seating and no landscaping around our courts. So our council will support the improvements of these items and continue to serve our community by creating a space to gather and create a fun place for basketball.
So, for the donations, we have started off with sending letters to different companies, and we have been calling them and asking them for donations. And with the help of IHCDA, we will, if we donate up to $15,000, they will match dollar for dollar up to $15,000, and the community will benefit from a total of $30,000, which will go towards our North Park recreational project. Now, the donations, we have small donations, which is donation amount $10 to $24, which includes the levels of bench warmer and assist. The benefits of that are you will get social media recognition. Our next stage is the medium donations, which is donation amount $100 through $999, which is the levels playmaker, 6-man, and 3-pointer. The benefits is that you get a name on a sponsorship banner. You will be listed individually on social media. Our last section is the large donations, which includes a donation amount of $1,000 to $5,000. The levels are Slam Dunk, MVP, and Champions. The benefits from that is you will be rewarded with a commemorative plaque. You'll be listed individually on social media. You'll be featured at the ribbon cutting. Your name will be on a sponsorship banner out at North Park, and you will be mentioned on WTRE and in the Greensburg Daily newspaper.
To wrap up, we wanted to thank you so much for your time and consideration towards supporting our project. We want to re-emphasize the importance of this project. Most importantly, this project will create a nice, safe place for people to play a nice game of basketball or sit down and enjoy the summer afternoons. This park benefits all people, residents and visitors, because the park is in a prime location right off the bypass and centered in residential neighborhoods. In addition, this would be a project completely organized and run by a youth council. This project allows us to serve and give back to a community that has done so much for us growing up. With your support and donations, we can make our vision a reality and really make a change in a beloved community park. We are asking for a donation of $5,000 towards our matching grant. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes. Do you have a guesstimate of the total cost?
So with the resurfacing the basketball courts, it will be anywhere from around up to $10,000, $15,000. And then if we include the seatings, we hope to have around 5 to 8 benches, which total about $300 each to be melted down. And then with landscaping and like fencing areas, that's another around $5,000.
Will it be enclosed with a fence?
Yes, we're looking to have fence or landscaping, so there's like a creek right near and that road to block off from the balls being like out in the road or in the creek.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, you guys get an A.
Oh, thank you.
It's impressive that you're all freshmen. Good for you. We've got a lot to look forward to, don't we? Each year, you get more? Okay, great. Wonderful project. I know that a year ago, we had another part of that was being done. That's still under construction, or still in the process, yes?
The games are somewhere in transit.
Okay.
They were supposed to be here quite a while ago. I think we had a March delivery date. We still don't have them, but it's all there and it's done, except for unloading and constructing those. But yes.
I've been by there, but I just haven't taken time to really look carefully. Yeah, well, I'm very impressed by the fact that you happen to all be in Greensburg, I understand, but I understand also that it's a county-wide effort, and that's great. I think that's important, and pleased to see that it's happened. I think it's something that's worthwhile, and I think I'm supportive of us doing our part.
Thank you for your presentation. You did a very great job. I was a Greensburg graduate, less than 20 years ago, and never had anything similar to this. So I think it's such a gift to our community that the mayor and the prevention group, gives you all this opportunity and us the opportunity to have you all give back. So thank you very much. I do have a question. So if we do approve this, have you all brainstormed about an event that you may want to put on after everything's completed?
We have not currently, but we could do a fundraiser, like a kickoff at the park. Once it's done, we could do like a little party or something like that and bring in like maybe a food truck or anything like that. Yeah.
I realize it's 2023 and not 1967. For some reason, I remember that year. The old courts were down where the junior high school is right now, where the parking lot is out in front, that's what it said. And those basketball courts were used from the time the sun came up to the time the sun went down. And I would hope that after you complete this, that if you get enough money, that you think about the possibility of doing lights Of course, the neighbors may not like that, but the possibility of having lights to play in the evening. Just a thought. Great project.
And I have one other question or comment. I know that, you know, you're seeking 5,000 from us, and I know that you have these gift categories. Do you have other plans now to seek other significant gifts that you can realize the 15,000? I mean, you have a game plan that you're working at where you're going to go next and how you're going to begin to solicit. You mentioned you're talking to businesses, but do you have any other strategies that's been thought through at this point? I'm not being critical, I'm just asking the question. It's early, I understand, so if you do not, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, okay? I just didn't know if you had some already in mind.
Like, do you mean like other ways to raise money as well?
Yes, or other places where you're seeking
Yeah.
significant gifts.
So we've actually partnered with the school buildings, and we are kicking off Teacher Jean Days. So teachers will pay $5 in order to wear jeans for that day, and all that money will be donated towards our project. So, and the schools have been really supporting, and that will be kicking off next week.
Thank you.
You've also applied to the foundation,
Yep.
correct? And you have a couple other appointments, I think, set up over the next couple weeks that are in that line.
And I would hope that once you receive the amount of money that you need for this project, that you continue to collect for the next project, or, as I mentioned before, possible additions to this.
Okay. Any further questions for these 4 young individuals of our community?
To congratulate them, and I would move approval of the request.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed. Congratulations. Thank you for stepping up to do this presentation, and for the entire council, and for Sandra's leadership of the youth in the community, and looking forward to your success. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Up next, wastewater superintendent Zeke Smith. Zeke, do you have a fun project to talk to us about?
A few.
Okay. Let's see it. Where's your PowerPoint?
Should have brought one down there. Great job, good council. That is sometimes it can be kind of nerve-wracking to be up here kind of in front of the city, so kudos to those guys for that, especially at that age. So a few things on my agenda. Good evening, board, mayor. We'll start with the Strand task order. If you guys could dig that paperwork out for me, please. Give me a second to find that. Essentially, I'm looking at working with Strand in an effort to upgrade our South Vine Street sanitary sewer main. A little bit about that. 4-inch sewer main that runs down South Vine Street. It's servicing about 6 homes. As you know, a 4-inch line typically is for what you would see in a single-story home. So to have 6 homes on that line, you can probably imagine we have some issues with it. So we're over there pretty much weekly, if not daily, flushing that. It's been a problem for many years, so I'm looking to upgrade that to an 8-inch main, about 400 feet of that. Looking to put a new manhole at the very south end of that. So I'm in front of you seeking approval to go forward with an engineering drawings with Strand to get that off the ground and going, and then help me see that through to completion. Any questions on that?
They've been, oh, go ahead.
No, please.
They've been working with you on this issue for quite a while, and something you've been struggling with, correct?
Yeah, it's been going on for many years. It's been on, I think, our radar for a while, so we're finally in a position to go ahead and make that improvement. This is in our budget as well, so it'll be nice to get this one off the list. We spend a lot of man hours over there, the truck, people, infrastructure, just flushing that really weekly, so
So
definitely needed improvement.
you expect this to be completed within, I mean, this design piece, and then of course you're going to have the construction side. So it's going to be
this
months?
Definitely completed this year, hopefully by early fall it should be completed, so probably a few months. Just want to get it off the ground going early this year so we can see it through to completion before it gets wet.
Questions from my colleagues? I don't have any further.
Motion to approve the task order for 71,000 with Strand.
I'll set the motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Lindsay, seconded by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed. Next item, Tralan Drive.
Awesome, thank you for that. Looking at some stormwater infrastructure upgrades. The first one here is the Tralan Drive improvement. Should have a couple papers there in front of you, if you can dig those out. So if you go to this map, so North Tralan Drive, at the very southern end of that, there's a cul-de-sac. It's been taking on water, not being able to really evacuate that. Right now, currently, it goes due west over to East Street. That line that runs across there, it's 8-inch. It's got a couple bellies in it. It's not exactly in the best shape. With the amount of flow that is generated from North Tralan, it can't evacuate soon enough, so it's backing up there. The house just east of the very southern end of that, that's 916. There's been a couple of rain events that's got up literally to their foundation. We just can't get the water out of it. We can't evacuate it quick enough over west to East Street. So I'm looking to essentially add in 180 feet of 12-inch storm drain to tie into an existing inlet that's on the southeast corner of the property of 916. That's going to go due east into a stormwater box there, then go south down to First Street. So I'm looking to add that line in from the inlet on the very southern end of North Tralan east over to the inlet on the southeast corner of the property of 916. Now, we're not in a complete position to do that right this very second. We're still looking to develop a little better understanding as to easement, right-of-way, ownership of that. So we're kind of working behind the scenes to develop a better understanding on going forward. We're still looking to get approval for the project once we do get that figured out.
This estimate that you have is your estimate, or it's from Diesel evacuating? They're
Yes,
giving
well,
you a...
yeah.
Trust your judgment that it needs to be done, so.
This is actually one complaint that I've received multiple times over the last several years about it. The stormwater utility, this is a good opportunity to use it. It is a part of, we met a couple weeks ago and sort of laid out a couple-year plan for what that utility looks like, saving some cash for emergencies and larger infrastructure projects, but then also implementing some smaller, this is a $20,000 project, implementing some smaller projects that do have an effect that are in well-known problem areas. The home that is pictured in the map, that property owner is very excited to have our assistance with this.
Yes.
And so we will have to work directly with her to get easements and right-of-way, but she seems very willing to do that to alleviate the problem.
Absolutely.
I'd like to make a comment that for those who questioned why we had a stormwater fee, they had to pay. They're now seeing their money at work for people who deserve to have normal property rather than having floods. I think we've done good.
We've also tackled we're tackling stormwater inlets that don't really rise to the level of a full-on contract. They're being replaced as we go and do pavement work. And we did the project on Stewart Street.
North Street.
Stewart, and last year, the next item on the agenda is actually kind of like, quote, phase 2 of that. It moves up the line a little bit. But yes, we're, trying to plug some holes.
Are you asking approval to move forward with this? Is that what, or you were saying you're
Approval
still...
to move, approval to move forward once we figure out approvals.
Pending getting the easements and
Correct.
right-of-ways, then
Yeah.
you would move forward?
Correct.
But that may not be as hard as it normally is.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, I understand from what you said. No, I'm not expecting an obstacle from what you said. I would...
Make a motion to approve the projects.
Tralan Drive first.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do have a question just for for my knowledge. So this estimate, is this who you will plan to go with? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and so for smaller projects,
Can be.
okay, okay, thank you for the clarification.
No problem at all.
Under 50,000, we don't have to have multiple bids.
Thank you.
They do a lot of our kind of work like this for smaller inlets and things like that. So we have a working relationship with them too.
I'll second.
Motion been made by Rodney, seconded by Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. North Wilder Street stormwater improvements.
Third and final improvement here, so you guys can find the paperwork for the North Wilder. I'm gonna walk through this one. So again, there's an issue there on North Wilder, just east of where you can kind of see my mark there where the new line's gonna start. Water kind of pools up there between those houses. There's a line that runs directly under North Wilder that's collapsed, and it's just not, it's not evacuating water over into the alleyway, which is just west of North Wilder. So looking to essentially replace that from the inlet there just east of North Wilder all the way over west to meet Stewart Street, which is where the most recent infrastructure upgrades were completed there, and essentially tie into that new line that's on Stewart. So this will be a complete upgrade from current infrastructure to a new 12-inch line and replace the inlet boxes on North Wilder as well as the box on Stewart with a brand new 12-inch line that runs, I think, 420 feet.
Is this not a project we looked at a couple of years ago? There was an issue with flooding in the backyard down through the alley?
That was the previous project farther east. In other words, where he's gonna connect this one on at Stewart. This was east of Stewart, all the way down through there, back almost to where Lakeford comes out on North Street.
Okay.
And then we took North Street all the way down towards the bridge there by the Armory.
Okay, thank you.
This is just over 50, so do we
That's
need?
what I was just talking, I hadn't thought about that until this moment.
Well, I was gonna say if 50,000 is the cutoff, I mean,
Let's not say that number out loud, and that'll give opportunity for bid.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I would say that that's fair. So my recommendation would be to table this particular one to send out for bid.
Ron?
I believe over 50, less than something is 3 quotes.
That's correct, 150, less than 150?
150 and above is 3 quotes.
I think 150 and above is bid.
I thought it was
So, at the very least, I'd say table it, let me figure out.
I would move that we table, and we can it's either a bid or just quotes that we can, which is similar to a, except it's not a sealed kind of thing, it's just more of a quotes, right? I would move tabling this Wilder until further information can be obtained.
We'll bring that back next month.
Fair enough. Yep.
I apologize, I did not catch that when you were
That's okay, yep.
presenting it to me
Yep, nope.
last week.
Fair enough.
Okay. Motion's been made by Glenn. Is there a second to table this?
I'll second. to
Second
table
by
it.
Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
I need 2 more.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 more. Okay.
Yes. Any questions for Zeke on that project before we go down that rabbit hole of getting bids? Okay. Yeah, so we'll need to find 2 more.
Okay.
They're welcome to resubmit should they choose.
We'll do it. Sounds
Do
good.
they need to? Do they need to technically resubmit it? Have them resubmit.
Can do that.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Police Chief Mike McNeely. First item on the agenda, policies for review.
Good evening, Board. I emailed you earlier today a PDF copy of a new draft of policies for us to adopt. It's a very light, easy read. Should have it done on a long weekend, maybe. So we contracted with Lexipol in 2001, began the process. It was 2021, pretty lengthy process. To get through all that, we're finally done, we believe, and are presenting it to you for review and approval. Lexipol is a national corporation. Our last policies were written in 2003. What we lacked with that is there is no way for us to stay current as federal and state statutes come out. We had to ourselves watch and make changes when new laws came into effect. With contracted with Lexipol, they send that to us. It's in an application on our computer that we just see it. If it's a state or a federal change, we just basically have to adopt it. And if it's something that's discretionary, they send us what they believe would be good for our size department, and then we look at it and then make adoptions based on that. I did also highlight in that email the high liability policies. We did have city council attorney take a look at that, and he had no objections to anything that was written. Again, this corporation writes thousands of these across the nation for different sizes public safety organizations. Fire department currently uses them as well. I will tell you, there's 150 pages at the end and an attachment you do not need to review. It's just an attachment for it's the county emergency management safety plan, something like that. So you do not need to review that. And then my plan is, as you guys review it, I will have it on next month's agenda. And if you're ready for it then we can discuss it. If not, we'll take that off and table it for the next meeting.
You would need adoption from this board at some point, potentially as early as next month.
As early as next month, but we cannot operate on it until it's been adopted. Any questions?
There's obviously too much to read from this afternoon. I mean,
correct.
Even taking 150 off, that still leaves 500 or more. So
620.
Yeah, something like that. But I did take the opportunity this afternoon to look through the first 50 pages or so, and I was impressed by what I saw initially. So I can't say I'm looking forward to reading it, but I will do my due diligence and do my duty.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chief on that one?
Do we need to officially table this, or it's just a presentation, so we don't, okay.
I think it was just information.
And then, ready to move on? Second thing to talk to you about is interviews for hire. We're in a current application process. We have 5 applications currently turned in. My plan is to bring to you the three best out of there. No more than 3, so it'll be 3 or less applicants to bring to you. And I'm looking for a date, either the first week of May or the end of the last week of April. I know Glenn has some things we talked about earlier today that prevent him from being available.
Available if the 27th or 28th of April, but not the first 3 days of that week. Thursday or Friday.
I'm available April 27th, not 28th.
And first week of May, Wednesday, 3, 4, and 5 would be doable.
Well, yeah. What week again was it?
Either the very end of April, next 2 weeks from now, the 27th, it's a Thursday night.
Not available.
May the 3rd, Wednesday. May 4th, Thursday.
I'm available on Wednesday, Thursday, both the first week of May.
I'm available on Thursday, May 4th.
May 4th, may the 4th be with us?
That'll work. Thank you, Ford.
What time, our usual times? 5:30?
5, because I probably need to be at the redevelopment commission by 7. So, 5.
Sorry we didn't ask you.
That's okay. I would have said, it'll work.
If you have nobody else, it would have.
Okay. Chief.
Mayor, before you call the chief, I would just let the board know and let Zeke know. Indiana Code 522.8-3 says that for purchases between $50,000 and $150,000, you only need 3 quotes. Or sealed bids or anything of that nature. So just
Chief Sturmer. First item is the Dodge Charger.
Good evening, Board and Mayor. We have our fire inspector in his new vehicle now, so we're just going to dispose of surplus equipment via sealed bid. All emergency equipment has been removed along with lettering, so we will move that vehicle with your approval to front of the street department. We will publish the bid, take sealed bids for a month, come back next month, and open those sealed bids to remove that property from the city roll.
Favorable recommendation?
Yep.
Everybody okay with that? Perfect. Changes in department policy.
Yeah, so in your packet there is a brief description of a policy we're seeking to change in the fire department temporarily into changing the way we staff the firehouse due to our shortages, military leave, and injuries that we currently have going on. We are seeking to go from 7 to 6 on a full staff. This is only temporary until we hit the 28 mark. We're currently at the 26 mark. We do have conditional offers tonight, potentially, hopefully, a third conditional offer within the next month, as well as within 2 months, we do expect our military individual to be back at full service. So this will be a very temporary, probably for a month, if not month and a half, till we reach those 28 certified people. Any questions, I will entertain that.
Seems like a practical move to me, so I would, unless my colleagues have questions, I would move approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Glenn, second by Rodney. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. And then conditional offers of employment.
Sure, seeking conditional offers for of our executive session yesterday evening, seeking an immediate conditional offer for candidate number 1 to be sent for clearance, and a immediate conditional offer for candidate 2 to begin immediately as their schedule allows.
I'll set the motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Lindsay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Rodney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed.
All right, thank you very much.
You all received a copy of the claims. Any edits, additions, questions? If not, take a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Rodney. Second by Lindsay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Okay, anything else, board members? If not, take a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Glenn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? See everyone next month, if not before.